instead of having another guillotine operator, let's invest in this machine that's automated. And
Essentially, we start having another member staff.
Good afternoon, I'm Adam from Duplo UK, and today I'm here with Ben, General Manager, and Martin, Operations Manager of Printstore UK, Kingston upon Thames. Today we're going to be discussing about how we transformed their business with automation in the finishing arena for them and how it's sort of changed their business. So just to start with, guys, glad to have you today, and tell us a little bit about your business.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we've been trading for over 30 years. The business was established in 1988. And we've seen lots of changes throughout the years, industry changes, and we've changed a lot of what we do and diversified our offering as time moves on and as technology develops. So we started off, primarily litho, offset printing, B3 press. Started small and then kind of built up, ended up with the, SM74 Heidelberg Speedmaster. A lot of our business is restaurant based. So we were doing a lot of menus and point of sale collateral, local marketing items for restaurants and various takeaways and things like that. So we saw, a great kind of build up until COVID with all of the leafleting and, doing really large volumes through the presses. And our core business was really focused on, large volume, flat sheet printing, not a lot of finishing involved. It was mainly, printed, trimmed out, and we distribute to all the restaurants and everything. And then obviously things have moved on, times have moved on. Post-COVID, we saw a massive shift in people's purchasing and what they were, spending their money on. We found that a lot of it was moving to more kind of visual point of sale, large, wide format things. And they were doing a lot of promotional, small volume products. So we found that our two litho offset presses were running maybe 2 or 3 days a week. And we just saw a massive shift from having, two printers running those presses all day, every day, large volumes, churning the work out, to suddenly actually it was a lot more thought out, and the stuff they were doing was really focused in the marketing side of things. So as a kind of environment changed, we obviously had to change with it. And fortunately, we know Adam, and he's been in quite a few times to kind of see how the business is evolving, and great conversations around what we need and where we're finding things difficult or where there's a gap in what we're doing, and always comes up with solutions, which is great. So I think we purchased the first machine from you guys in
2017. I think we implemented the booklet making in around 2016, 2017. We just saw there was a bit of a gap there, that you were struggling on your booklet making, and then I suppose that sort of the journey started from there, and you just become more and more efficient. And just how's that helped you, Ben and Martin? Have you just been then just pushed on from there? Is it, what efficiencies have you seen?
Yeah, it's been brilliant. I mean, obviously we moved to digital. We've now got two digital Xerox machines.
Yeah.
And as Ben was saying, a lot of our stuff is small but tricky work. So I was piling up the guillotine operator with lots and lots of work. And that's what I said to Ben, right? We need to look into something that could sort of alleviate or basically give other staff more time to do other things. And that's when I came and saw you about the 618.
That's it. And then also at that time as well, we were implementing the B2 cutting table as well.
Yes.
So you saw a gap in the market there. And again, I know we spoke about certain subjects about skilled workforce, client demands, more pressure on the business. So how did that help you as well with implementing that?
Well, obviously we had Affinity, didn't we, come along?
Yeah, so I think we, like many SMEs in our industry, face a lot of challenges, with the workforce kind of aging and the new technology and what's being implemented. And we found a lot of the older staff that we had were moving on to do different things, retiring, and there's not really a lot of younger people coming in. So as Martin was saying, with, skilled workers like guillotine operators, people who use creasing machines, folders, all of the real bread and butter printing machinery.
Scarce.
They're scarce. And we've been through rounds and rounds of recruitment to try and, recruit people into it. And it's just not something that we were very successful in. As one of the challenges is obviously making sure that we can still do that type of work. And I think that's one thing that Duplo offer is the machinery really kind of fills those little voids where you have really time consuming jobs that require a skilled worker. You've automated it. One of the things that's great about all of the Duplo software is the software that's really user friendly. The interface, you need very minimal print knowledge to operate all of your machinery. And I think that's where it's been really beneficial for us. So, with the booklet maker, with the DC, with the blade, and then obviously the rotary machine that we've just got, all of those can be operated by, young people who are
Tech savvy,
but not necessarily knowledgeable in the print arena, which is where the workforce is at the minute, unfortunately.
And also they're interested in learning it. Because it's a computer screen. It's not a great big machine where you pull a thing here and and also the ease of use. I mean, I had 10 minutes training on the 618, and that was it.
And off you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of it is repeat work again. So with the software again, saving templates down that for work that you do repeatedly. So booklet formats on the booklet maker, you just save that particular template, and then when you come to do it again, it's ready to go. All the machines, they don't need any manual adjustments. They adjust themselves.
Yeah.
So it's all of these little things where actually what it does is minimize the amount of training, the amount of skill involved in running these machines. And also once they're running, they're automated. So for example, Martin can have two or three of your machines running at the same time, which is what we're currently doing. The return on investment on these machines is great because they're cost effective, they're compact. So where space is an issue, we've obviously managed to fit two of the DCs in a small area. The B2 blade, nice compact machine in comparison to some of the bigger machines on the market. So, everything that you kind of bring to us as a solution to a lot of the stuff we need has worked really well, and is continuing to help us evolve as a business and diversify our offering to our customers.
And how are you finding at the moment then with client demands and the stresses that they can sometimes put on you with using the equipment? Has that helped massively?
I've got a great example actually. My dad works for a local golf club.
Right.
And yesterday he rang me up and said, we've got no cards. We're having a bit of a dispute with our printers.
Yeah.
We need some ASAP. Can you get them ready by the end of the week? He rang me 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. He came and picked up 2,000 cards ready, folded, printed this afternoon. So in one day, to get a job out. And that's the same. Lots of clients, sorry, it's a late one, but could you, and we get so many jobs out almost, sometimes next day, sometimes same day.
Yeah.
Because it's doable and we've got everything in place to do that. Even with the booklet maker, I can trim and score a booklet ready document. So I print it, trim and score it, and it actually makes the booklet nicer because I'm using the slitter, which scores it and trims it ready straight into the booklet maker and out. And I can get this, I can have 3 things running at once. So I could be printing and scoring and slitting and doing the booklets at the same time as it's printing.
So you're meeting that demand.
Yeah. We're better than Amazon, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. And I think people's expectations.
Printstore Prime.
Yeah. People's expectations are just unrealistic a lot of the time, as I'm sure many businesses.
It's our own fault sometimes.
Yeah, and we're victims of our own success in that manner. But again, it all goes back to what we were saying about the skill set required. And, a lot of the older print machinery, the harder big cylinders and book and stitching lines, they require 30 minutes to set up or 40 minutes to set up from a skilled operator. Whereas Martin can set these machines up in 5 minutes flat, ready to go. And then it also gives you the option to do multiple jobs in a day. So, he can run 5-6 different booklets in one day, all different sizes, all different page counts, just because of the machines and the automation, the fact that it's so easily adjustable on the software, as opposed to all the manual and moving parts and everything. You found what people need and require for the kind of quick turnaround, short run printing market. And every time you come in here with the machine, there's always some interest from us because there will be some use for it within what we do.
Yeah. And with the evolution of our DC range, which is, ever growing, what would you like to see next? Let's say, 2-3 years down the line, is there something, a gap we're missing, or is there all, what would you say, or is there anything that you think, well, we could just tick that box and we could improve there?
In terms of the slitter itself?
Yes.
Well,
do we need to be faster? Is it, the automation, the graphical user interface?
I mean, I'll be honest, everything on it is great. There's nothing, I've never really come across a problem, but obviously more speed.
Yeah.
everyone wants more speed. And then so we don't have the cross perforation section, though, do we? That does come with another one of your machines, as far as I know. But more speed. But other than that, I mean,
I think one of the things as well with all your machinery is modular, and we found that as well. Once the requirement grows for a particular process, you can add them on. And I know we've discussed the folding aspect of going on the end of the DC, and it's something funds willing that we'll invest in sooner or later. And likewise with the booklet maker, you gave us the option with the tower, and there was also the option for the auto feeder, which actually works well for us. Because 100%. A lot of what we do is pre-collated work on the booklet, so that was the ideal additional component to add to that machine to make it usable for us. But that's what's great, and I think everything being modular allows us to come to you and go, right, we have now taken on a load of work that involves cross perforation, and you'll come back.
We can buy the module. You don't have to buy a whole new machine. It's great add-ons.
There's a lot of benefits to the communication that we have together as two businesses, and you understanding our business and understanding what we require. And as soon as something new comes along, you're always in here and you're always telling us what it is. And we might not buy it immediately, but 6 months down the line, like the DC, it made sense. And again, as I say, from a business perspective, from an operational point of view, they help Martin be as efficient as possible. They help us meet client demands. But also from, a business ownership perspective, the return on investment has been really good on all of the machines. So the first DC that we purchased, Martin kind of, sold it to me as we've lost a guillotine operator. So one of our guillotine operators left. And instead of having another guillotine operator, let's invest in this machine that's automated. And
I said to him, it's like having another member of staff.
And in a joking way, he says,
take lunch break.
We won't take lunch break. And he'll talk back to you. So it has literally been that. So, and I think that's why we bought the second one off of you, because we just saw the benefit of having it there. And again, with everything being digital now, it's just so quick. And
so easy. You've got the barcode function that makes life easy. Put a job in, press the button, and there you go. It's amazing.
So we've done, and there's also a wider scope to you guys as well with your affinity company, and you've also just moved forward as well with another
packaging company.
Packaging company. So we've got the PFI 310 that's gone in. So just a little bit of explanation. I know we've got some samples here as well. So you've got wide umbrella now of products that you can
of the offering
you service all your clients nationwide, not just locally. So just having a look today and having a chat before we sat down, some of the products that you're doing from the design element right through to delivering that job.
Correct. And I think again a lot of the diversification in this product range has been based on the machinery that we've got from you. So rather than spending £250,000 on particular machinery, as for a fraction of the cost, we've managed to venture into a lot of this packaging stuff because we've been able to, test it, trial it, test the market for a lot of it before really going out and spending, a lot of money on investment, which as an SME is great. And it means that, cash flow and everything else allows us to be, a healthy business still without, agile, exactly. So some of the stuff, for example, these customer demand, as you were saying, so they only wanted 100 of these small things for an Easter promotion. It was great because we were like, no problem, no dyes involved, nothing, digital print that was cut on the blade. So from print to cut and everything, it was about an hour's worth of work, which is great. Customers happy. It didn't impact our workflow too much because the blade is automated, auto feeds the sheet. So once it was printed, easy. This customer here, we didn't have them before this, so they used to just do a sleeve that just wrapped around their particular product. Steve actually redesigned it and promoted, having these curved edges on it, and it was really useful for him to be able to actually show them a prototype of that, put it around the product, and actually allow them to see just how beneficial just adding that little bit on to match the kind of curvature of the actual product. Again, that turned into a 30,000 order just by utilizing the blade and having that, not having to cut something out by hand or whatever, to be able to show them that physical product. Martin, obviously, quick turnaround with that. It didn't impact anyone. He was in here this morning. He did it all on his own. Didn't need a guillotine operator. Didn't need someone running and scoring. This here was obviously, again, something that needed a lot of trial and error. So all of these little things that, that we're able to supply the customers with, that was only 100 run, but it was for Mother's Day, cute little product. Steve designed it, with that in mind, making a die cutting form for something like that, an exponential cost that you wouldn't want, but because we were able to cut it on the blade, the customer got a really nice product, something they were happy with. This here, again, another product that has evolved into, European distribution and everything. We did a lot of proofing, a lot of cut out samples on the blade, all for different product ranges. It allowed us to really keep the customer within the group, because we were able to do the small run prototypes. What do they want, like 50 of each or something like that?
Version,
So,
8 versions.
and it was all different cutouts and everything, but we didn't have to make any dies to do all the prototyping. So when we put the cost forward for it, it was a real benefit, because they went, well, actually, we're happy to pay that. And it was nice for them to see that as a business, we were versatile and agile enough to be able to do everything from the small 50 they wanted to, the 100,000, and that's really where we want to be as a business. So that's all the PFI blade stuff. The rotary machine.
Yeah.
This was something that me and Adam discussed previously. So last July at our sister company Affinity, we were going into the cut market. So we bought cut forming machines, and a huge part of this is the kind of festival market, or the event market. And what we were finding is it was fine for, the bigger venues. They were ordering hundreds of thousands of them, so it was fine. But people wanted 5,000, 10,000. And we couldn't really justify the expenditure on a lot of the machinery. So what we did is obviously spoke to you, Adam, and we went, well, we want to do small runs to test the market, which involve 1,000 or 2,000. But we couldn't put those on the big die cutting machines because it just wasn't viable for costs. And you can't be setting up a big die cutting machine. So came to me with the rotary cutter.
Yeah.
And we put that in January this year, and it's been really, really good. So the team up there, as I say, the young gentleman running it, he's probably 23 years old, doesn't have any printing experience, but he had the day's training with you, and he's running, 30,000 cups a week, 4 different short runs of them, and they're being formed. And we're really hoping that it picks up.
Yeah.
But it's allowed us to, as I say, dip your toe in the market a little bit before really making a massive investment in a big die cutting machine, which could be hundreds of thousands of pounds. And subsequently, we're going to try and put more of our small run die cutting on it as well. Yeah. So I don't think we've fully utilised it to its full potential yet, but it's only been in there a few months.
Yeah,
so we will get there. We will get there.
And it's lovely to hear with utilising, an unskilled worker from outside the print that can jump on that machine and then start creating. So yeah, it's great
instantly
to hear.
useful. Yeah, because normally, you get an apprentice in and you get to show them bits and pieces, but he's come in running a machine straight from the off, and he's learning as he's going.
And you'd be comfortable, Mark, with the DCs as well downstairs, that if you were having to get someone in, you wouldn't, you could almost say, look, come in.
100%. I've actually got Sean running it right now.
Right.
I've shown him how to use it. He knows how to use it, but he doesn't use it a lot. But I've just left him some instructions downstairs, and when I go downstairs, it'll all be done.
That's brilliant.
So yeah, as I say, on the whole, keep us informed about what you've got up and coming. As I say, we'll always be up for coming and see you at the showroom, seeing what's out there. And obviously, there's been products that we've missed out on, and I know there's stuff in the pipeline which we will talk about. On the whole, it's been a fantastic journey, and as I say, our relationship back from 2017, almost 10 years now, been with you, and long may it continue.
Okay. All right. Well, look, thanks, Ben. Thanks, Martin.
No problem.
Just to summarise, wonderful company. Great team here. Forward thinking. Always a pleasure to work with you. If you need, any more info,
absolutely, we know
where to come. And also, guys, Printstore, use them. They're a wonderful company based in Kingston.
Thank you.
And if you need anything from me, I'm Adam. Work for Duplo. So thanks very much.